What is up, everybody? I appreciate all of y'all for being here. We've been trying to kind of make this happen for a minute. You know, I joked with Bradley at one point, or not even really joked, but I brought up the topic of like, hey man, like I feel like we need to do like some separate episodes, and it was meant to be on the Connected by Creatures channel, and we ended up doing it here, obviously now. But I meant to, like I said, we meant to kind of do like some separate interviews where I get a chance to interview him and he gets a chance to interview me. And maybe he'll actually get a chance to talk a little bit. I won't cut him the fuck off all night long like an asshole. So let's dive into this shit, man. Bradley, what is going on, brother?
Yeah, man. It's interesting to be the interviewee and not the interviewer. You know, you and I do Connected by Creatures every Friday, and it when you text me and asked me if I wanted to come do this with you and Miri, I was like, yeah, I definitely want to do it. And then I was thinking about, I was like, it's gonna be kind of weird because I'm gonna like be trying to fuck with settings and mess with shit, and
I know you can't help yourself.
Yeah, and I already have. You guys don't know that, but I already have.
Oh yeah, no, I do know that. Yeah, the people watching have no idea, but I was watching. You're like, wait a minute, let me change this camera angle. And Miri will be here in literally like 2 seconds. I think I actually fucked up and sent her the wrong link. So again, amateur fucking hour as always. In case anybody is not fully aware, anytime you guys are watching Connected by Creatures and there's like any sort of a hiccup or a problem or anything along those lines, it's 99.9, and by that I mean 100% of the time it's on me. I am the scatterbrained, squirrel-brained dumbass of the two of us, which is why I think I said it in the description. If I didn't, I meant to. Bradley is most certainly the better half of what makes up Connected by Creatures. So, like I said, I've been excited about that.
I disagree. I think we both play our part, and that's why I think this is going to be fun because, when you didn't click go live, at exactly when that clock said 0, my hand was itching, and I was like, "This isn't my shit. I can't push the button."
But you know what? It would have been funnier if you did. You could have literally clicked go live and been like, "So these motherfuckers." Miri, I am so sorry. I apologize profusely. I think I sent it to you on Instagram, and maybe I didn't. I probably sent you. Yeah, I didn't. Yeah, I just fucked up. I copied and pasted the wrong link and sent it to you in the wrong. Yeah, so I'm a fucking asshole. That's the long and short of it. Bradley and I were just covering this in case you didn't hear it. About the fact that I suck at all of this stuff, despite having done. Bradley, how many episodes have we done now?
27.
Yeah. So 27 episodes of mostly success. You guys can 100% blame all of that on Bradley. It's nothing to do with me. Like when people hit me up, they're like, "Hey, I'd love to do your show." I'm like, "Yeah, I'm the wrong person to talk to because I'll tell you to come on and then I'll completely forget about it." So God knows I need some people to keep me in line. And for these streams, thank God that I have Miri, which is why I'm glad to have her assistance. So welcome to the stream.
Yeah, right.
How has your day been, dear? What have you been up to?
Just phenomenal.
Snake work?
Oh yeah, all cleaning.
Yeah. I mean, hell, I went to work for just a handful of hours today. Like 10 or 11 hours, and even just that long after having cleaned yesterday, everything needed some service. But Bradley, diving in, you've got a lot going on, man. You work a whole shitload of hours, and you keep a ton of reptiles, and you keep them all very well. Give us a little background on your collection, man, for those that again just don't know, because we don't really get to talk about it nearly enough.
Yeah, so I've been keeping reptiles since I was 8 years old. My first reptile that I ever got was a green iguana, and I do not recommend that at all to get for kids or even people who aren't experienced keepers at all. I know that iguanas are readily available in the pet trade, and they start out as these cute little animals, but they're a lot of work. They require a lot of space. A lot of times we keep them wrong.
Sure.
We don't give them enough space.
Yeah, even now.
Yeah, even now. And it's just interesting how, I guess because of the readily availability of them and, the ease of breeding, that you see them all the time for like $20 and marketed towards younger people. And my parents had no idea. I was just an 8-year-old kid that walked up on the back porch with a different type of reptile every day, and my parents started swatting me in the hand saying, "Put that shit down." And after that, and I'll be 100% honest, I was a kid, and it wasn't a good experience. The animal died because I didn't know what I was doing.
Sure.
It took me a long time to talk my parents into letting me have a snake. Yeah. And that snake was a bunch of them that they didn't know about.
Yeah.
I would catch something outside, and I would keep it in the house for like 2 days under my bed until my mom, was going to see it. And then I would let it go. And, and I knew that I didn't have the means to keep them. So like, I just wanted to sit and watch them all throughout the middle of the night until, I had to let it go the next day, or maybe 2 days, depending on what it was. And, that was my life growing up, man. Like, I did a lot of herping as a kid. I did a lot of like big walk through culverts. Like me and my buddy Aaron, like at nighttime, we'd have a flashlight. I'd go to one side, he'd go to the other, and we'd meet in the middle. And hopefully there was a cottonmouth or, a water snake or something in there.
Love that.
And, I've just spent my life, catching reptiles and playing with them. And when I wound up moving out of my parents' house, then it was time for me to actually start my collection, start having animals that I wanted, things that I couldn't have before. And it's funny, man, because for those of you guys who don't know, like, there would be no wrapped around reptiles. There would be no, I wouldn't be shit without Katie. Like, Zach mentioned earlier,
I agree with that.
I work 72 to 84 hours a week, every week. Katie takes care of these animals.
Wow.
Like, Katie, she cleans them, she feeds them, she does everything. Now that I don't really care about the breeding as much, like now she's making what she wants and pairing the animals that she wants to pair together, and I have no say so in it anymore. Because like I've said, we're transitioning away from breeding and doing all education. Like my favorite thing in the world is to hand a little kid or even an adult, it doesn't matter, hand a person a snake for the first time. And
like
let
a water
them,
moccasin or something. Like a cottonmouth or a cobra.
Yeah. I mean, I'm good with that. Yeah. But I'd love to see that look on people's face. Yeah. I'd love to see that smile. I love to, to watch fear turn into awe, turn into wonder, turn into love. And it happens all the time.
Yeah. And fast.
Yeah, real fast. And, there's so many times that we've done educational events or educational things, and there's a parent there, and that parent is just fucking anti-snake, like telling the kid, like, stand back, get away from that,
bring it near me and I'll kill it. I was told that once in a pet store. We've all had those experiences. And
then the kid finally warms up to me, or warms up to Katie, and comes up, and the kid is like, "Can I touch it?" And I'm like, "Yes, you can touch it. You can hold it. You can lick it. You can do whatever the fuck you want to."
Yeah, whatever you want to do, man.
And when this person sees their kid, sees a little kid touch this animal, and like finally that kid's like, "Mommy, or Daddy, come here, look at this." And then they come over there and they get over that, whatever they have ingrained in their mind. And then they reach out and hold these animals. And then they're like, "Well, how much you want for that?" And I'm like, "Well, that one's not for sale, but I've got something over here."
Yeah. But so there's this just fast transition, and that's what's amazing. I mean, I got to experience that a little bit at Arlington. For a little bit, for hours on end, to the point that I almost missed our stream and everything else. Like, I literally just got so wrapped up in that. But it was the first time I'd experienced it. I already knew how important it was, and Miri, you can attest to this, like just how important it is to and you and I talked about it. Like it's amazing how there's just this feeling, man, of like same thing, like these little kids, tiny, like a little 2-year-old, literally reaching out, wanting to just touch the snake, like and shouting yellow, yellow, yellow. That was like that moment, that image will never not be cemented in my brain. And I'm like, how can I possibly? For those that don't know, I basically borrowed a snake off of someone's table, about an 8 or 9 foot retic, to just walk around the show with. I made sure that it was safe and the retic was well behaved and all that. But literally spent, like, I don't even remember, man, like 90% of my day just like letting kids hug on that snake and just changing people's minds. It was amazing. So I totally understand how people like you and like Brian Gundy and just all these people transition, man. Troy, get the fuck out of here.
Well,
me and my buddy Cody used to do all that stuff around here too.
Yeah, and that's why I mentioned, because I know that you were pretty involved in stuff like that, and you're also involved in like snake removal off people's properties, and just a lot of that stuff is super important and not talked about enough, I don't think, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely not. Especially in this area. I don't know what it is about around here, but that's why this is the second biggest zoo in New Mexico, in Clovis.
Yeah.
I don't know if you knew that, but
I did.
Yeah, me and my buddy Cody used to just go over to the schools, and it was probably one of the best things that I've ever done with that kind of work. But ever since he had passed away, that ended up stopping, because the zoo just doesn't do it anymore. So it just sucks that they don't have that connection anymore for the community.
Yeah, I mean, and God, I love that you and Bradley have that connection. And again, that's why, obviously you guys don't know each other super well. You and I do these lives on Wednesdays. Bradley, obviously you and I have been doing these lives on Fridays for a long time, and obviously we've been friends since before that. That's why, I love this, like this moment, all of this that we have going on, because, obviously Bradley, you and I know, like, Connected by Creatures, like that's our thing, and it's more than just a title and a name. I mean, it's literally like our lifestyle. It is what we live every single day. Whether that's people sending us messages on Instagram, like even young kids, like we've talked about a couple different people, like younger people in the hobby hitting us up, and again, just you doing your thing live.
I'll be the first person to say, like, I don't know everything, and it's a learning process to me every single day.
Yeah.
But I recently started doing social media, started doing YouTube, started doing stuff like that. I've been breeding ball pythons, off and on for 17 years. Yeah. Like,
and beyond.
Yeah. And I've been keeping snakes and reptiles for 28 years. Yeah. And I work with a shitload of different species, and I don't post everything that I have. And, some of the animals that we work with, like, I don't talk about it often, and because it's just shit that's for me. Like, it's just stuff.
I wish you would, though.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. I'm the same way. Yeah.
I wish, I'm glad you chimed in and owned that, because I wish both of y'all would. Both of you guys have just such amazing collections. I wish we could touch on that a little bit. But
I've had animal control come to my house. You guys follow me, know about that.
I actually, can we? If it's okay, can we like cut off where you were going with that? And you can finish your point. Sure. I want to talk about that story legitimately, because I feel like it's important.
Yeah, and it definitely is important. And the reason that it's important is there's things that people on the outside world are going to see and not understand.
Sure.
And I wholeheartedly believe that this situation came about in a vindictive manner from somebody that has nothing to do with the reptile world, that, knew that a way to get to me and to get to my family and to hurt me was to go after my animals.
Right.
And so it was Good Friday this year, right before Christmas or Easter. And I work every Friday. Like, I'm never at home on Fridays. I'm never at home during the day. Like, throughout the week, I'm never at home. Well, it was a holiday.
Well, that's changing now, but
right. It was a holiday, but I was at home that morning, and it was like 8:30 in the morning, and I get up at 4:30 every morning. So when I get a chance to sleep in, I'm sleeping in. And it was like 8:30, and I was still in bed, and somebody knocks on the door, and my daughter was like, Dad, somebody's knocking on the door. And I was like, okay. And I have a front door camera, that shows, and the guy was standing facing away, and I swear to God, I thought it was my brother-in-law. Like, dude, just like my brother-in-law. And I opened the door, and I was like, "What's up, Marquise?" And like the dude turns around, and it wasn't Marquise. And I was like, "Holy shit!" And I see the animal control vehicle. I see, the guy's animal control shirt. And the first thing that went through my head was the neighbors called animal control because the dog's barking all the time. I was like, because like if we have the front door open but the screen door closed and somebody walks by, it's not that the dog wants to eat them, but he barks at everybody because he wants to love you, and like that dog, you can watch old videos of Connected by Creatures. That dog drives me fucking crazy, but it is what it is. So that was my first thought. I was like, the dog was something, and I was like, "Can I help you?" And he said, "We've gotten reports that you're breeding and selling venomous animals out of your front door, and that you have invasive species and illegal species and all this stuff, and you're selling them right out of the front door of your house, and you're selling all this other stuff." And I was like, hang on. Like, wait a minute.
One thing let me disprove one thing at a time, okay?
First off, I sell absolutely nothing out of my house. Like the animals that I sell, 95% of the time, it's people that I know in my personal life that are buying animals from me. Like people that know what I like. I've never posted a snake on Morph Market. Like I've never, all the stuff that I sell is people that know me, that reach out to me, or people that I've talked to and said, "Hey, this, this clutch hatched, and we've got this and this and this." Yeah. Like I don't advertise anything. Like, you might see pictures on Instagram of eggs or like babies hatching, but like I don't even post, "Hey, this is for sale," or nothing. I sell nothing out of my house.
I know. Yeah.
Number two, I keep nothing venomous. I have no venomous animals. And I made that choice on purpose because, with what I'm trying to do with education and, entertainment and shit like that, I spend enough time with the animals that I have, socializing them and, working with them. And I really don't have the time to put in to venomous animals that I'm not going to be able to introduce people to, and sure. I love venomous animals. And some point really down the road,
actually, that's a lot of work.
Yeah. And some point down the road, I may keep venomous animals, but right now I don't. Okay. Another point. In Arkansas, it is illegal to breed reticulated pythons. It's illegal to breed Burmese pythons. I don't do either one. I don't breed retics. I don't breed Burms. I have them, but I don't breed them. And so the guy comes in and he's looking at all my, and I've got our big ass iguana right here that's in a custom built cage that I built. Yeah. That's 7 foot tall. It's 6 foot wide and it's 4 foot this way, but it's around a window, and the window opens, and on the outside it's 7 foot tall, 14 foot deep, and 8 foot wide. So she has an indoor outdoor cage that I built around a window. Yeah. So she can come in and out when she wants in the summer.
Have I apologize? I struggle to keep up with everyone's content. Have you done a video on that
no,
cage?
I haven't.
Dude, you have to do that. It's because I've seen the pictures and I've seen what it looks like. It's amazing. I think that because we've talked about this, I think maybe I'm passionate about it because I had an iguana as a kid, and I know that it wasn't cared for properly. Again, by no fault of my own. So fuck anybody that wants to come in here and talk shit, kiss my ass. But you take such amazing care of that iguana. Like that iguana literally has like the best life.
Dude,
For anybody that wants to check out Bradley's stuff, go look at the picture of that iguana in Bradley's Christmas tree. It makes me smile every single time.
Yeah, that and like the thing with Athena is when we first got her, and there's a big long backstory with Athena. So
yeah.
I've always said that I would never have another green iguana. I just wouldn't buy one. I wouldn't have it. Well, she's a rescue. And I'm looking at her right now because she's looking all pissy at me. She's a rescue. And what had happened was a guy that was an over-the-road truck driver, he bought this animal as a hatchling, and he kept her in the cab of his truck. And, like, he had it decked out. Like, she had a great life. Like, you know, he wasn't abusing the animal at all. Like,
right.
He took great care of her. But she rode around in a truck with him everywhere. He got in an accident. He's quadriplegic now. And he can't keep her. So we took her in. And that's Katie's baby. Like, Katie treats that animal better than she treats me or Lainey. Like, you know, that animal gets what it wants when it wants. And before we had the dog, we let her free roam in the house, you know, like a cat. And,
yeah.
But she had a closet that was set up just for her. Like, that's where, like, her heat lamps were, her water, her food, all that stuff. And she
kind of knew.
Right. She knew. And, like, what's crazy about this iguana is she loves swimming. So she'll go, she knows where the bathroom and where the bathtub is. And she'll go and flop her fat self into the bathtub and scratch at the faucet until you turn it on and let her swim. So she swims like 3 times a day because, like, she still has free roam to go where she wants. But, like, I like to let her go outside. So this indoor-outdoor cage is great for her to go outside. And there's a big water trough on the outside area where she can swim outside too if she wants.
Yeah.
But so I have this big one, and I have you know, I've got ball pythons, I've got retics, I've got super dwarf retics, I've got berms, I've got African house snakes that I breed. We've got leopard geckos, crested geckos. I've got Katie just got into a pair of tokay geckos. Those things are fucking vicious.
Yeah, they're Satan.
We've got
I'm good on that.
Yeah, they
are. I feel like I'm missing shit.
I know that you are, and I didn't even know what species it is.
Yeah,
this is the thing.
I've got
this is why I wanted to have this.
Plated lizards.
I forgot you have those. I always forget you have those. They're so. Can you pull one out right now? They're so cool.
Yeah. Give me just a second.
Here's the thing. Y'all have no idea. Bradley's collection is so ridiculous and so broad, and he doesn't nearly hype it up enough. Like even the iguana cage, like that iguana cage would put anyone to shame. Like, not to shame, like, but it would. I guess the way I want to put it, it would make any and every iguana keeper proud. I guess is actually the way to word that, because I understand that not everybody has the means or the ability to build a cage that he built. But like when he texted me and said that, I got this plan to do this thing with, like, I'm gonna build this cage around this window, and I will be able to open the window and she can just go in and out as she pleases and have all this space. My heart was so warm because, again, I guess I feel a little bit guilty for the fact that I had an iguana as a kid that wasn't kept as phenomenal.
Aww.
Yeah. Look at that.
These things are so cool.
Awesome.
Yeah, this one, her name's Honey. Lainey named her. And she's got some dirt on her forehead right now. But, like, they're burrowing lizards. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
No. And this thing,
I was gonna say, please tell us a little bit about them. I mean, not to put you on the spot, but like, really, it's so unique.
So they're obviously from Sudan, and they're a burrowing species. So, like, we keep, pretty deep substrate in her cage, so that way she can burrow and do what she wants. But what's cool about this animal is, like, she'll sit here with me for the rest of this podcast and just hang out with me. She'll sit and watch TV, and as long as all 4 of her feet are touching something, she's as good as can be. If you go to pick her up, like the first thing we try to do when we pick her up is set her flat on your hand so that way she calms down. Because if you're trying to hold her and her feet aren't touching the ground, she'll flip out. But like as long as her feet are on the ground, touching something, she'll just hang out with me. Like, she'll stay right there the whole time. She won't try to run away. And when we got this thing, I didn't really know a lot about them. Like I did a little bit of research on husbandry and stuff like that, but I didn't really know a lot about the species. And then once I started, really looking into them, it's pretty cool. Like, they have osteoderms on them that's a lot like, an alligator's osteoderms. Like her backside's really hard,
Yeah.
And like feeding her is hilarious because like the only time she gets protein is like for a treat. Like she doesn't really eat she doesn't eat carnivorously a lot, but occasionally she will. And it's funny compared to like, some of the other geckos, like the leopard geckos, the tokays, and the other more carnivorous ones, that we catch June bugs and give them June bugs all the time. And like I know
God, I don't miss those things.
people are going to give me shit for that because they're going to say, oh, you're introducing outside parasites to your animals. Look, I've been keeping these things for a long time. I've never had issues with June bugs. Tomorrow they might get a fucking worm, a tapeworm or something. People make mistakes, but I've kept them for a long time. And
experience to me is much more important than some shit somebody heard on a forum or a Facebook post.
If that's how, there would be no geckos outside, and there's anoles everywhere outside that are eating everything. Like,
it's kind of a thing.
Yeah, and I mean, I'll eat the fucking June bug too. So
I was gonna say we don't even know.
But so with these, like, trying to feed them mealworms or anything, like, she's really not interested in a lot of stuff like that. Like, she really doesn't want any part of it. And, but like pinkies, like mouse pinkies, it's hilarious. Because like
it's like a fiend.
No, she'll just look at it real hard, and like it's like she's thinking about eating it, but then on the other hand, she's like, I really don't know what the fuck this thing is.
And I really shouldn't. I'm trying to watch my weight.
she'll lick it, like she'll sit and lick at it, and she'll and then she'll just turn her head and take it. It's just funny.
Well, stuff like that, man, to me is amazing because, again, it's like, even as it doesn't matter as how simple their minds are, you're observing an animal see something that they don't see that often,
right?
And then investigate it in their own way, licking it, trying to kind of think and understand, like, do I want to eat this? Do I not want to eat this? Like, how do I feel? And then like commit. I love shit like that because you're literally watching this animal's brain work. Like, you're literally watching them think through an entire thought process. It's amazing.
Well, and to me, man, it goes back to like when I was a kid and I would catch snakes and I would just watch them, for like a day or two.
Yes,
like I didn't care what it did, like, just seeing its pupils dilate or, constrict, like that was awesome to me. Anything, like just looking at these animals, like they blew my mind when I was a kid and I was always obsessed with them. And, my great grandma gave me one spanking in my entire life. And it was for walking up on her back porch at 4 years old with a rough green snake in each hand. And they tried to break me, like, everybody tried to break me of this love of these animals. There's a catharsis to reptiles to me. Like if I'm having a shitty fucking day, and I've had a lot of shitty days, like, my whole life I've dealt with depression issues and stuff as well. And like, if I'm having a bad fucking day, I can come in this room, I can grab any one of these animals and just sit there and it calms me down. And it's always been like that. When I was a kid, I would watch videos or Steve Irwin or Jeff Corwin or whoever and see, Jack Hanna bring out, you know, Fluffy, Bob Clark's big retic on the David Letterman show. And like,
Yeah.
I love that shit. Like, I recorded fucking David Letterman on a VCR so I could watch it over and over and over. You know, like, I've always loved these animals. And I think a lot of it, man, is there is just this crazy, as I've grown older, like, there is this crazy stigma about reptiles. You know, like, there's really bad misinformation, and like, I guess I can relate to that because like there's a lot of bad information about me when I was younger, and like people had this idea that I was somebody that I wasn't, and you know, I just relate to these fucking weird ass animals and love them to death.
Yeah.
That's
So there's
a
a
great way
weird,
to
there's a
put
weird
that.
connection. So there's this weird connection with you and creatures, is what you're saying.
Yeah, I'm connected by creatures,
Sorry, Mary, I didn't.
and I'm also wrapped
Oh, you're
around
fine.
reptiles. You know?
And well, that's it, man. I love that about you, and that's why, in all seriousness, I you know, I've talked to you about doing this interview, you know, a long time ago. I'm like, man, we should do a special, you know, Connected by Creatures episode on like on a Wednesday or a Thursday or something like that. And so obviously now that Miri and I are trying to do these weekly Wednesdays, and just really build something off of this, I immediately knew that you were the perfect guest. And also for the same reason that it's like, Miri, obviously I know that you like to go out herping and like all over the place. You were at Marita's place and with JD and all of that. You guys were out, you know, interacting with venomous in the wild and the whole thing. And Bradley, obviously you've done that in Arkansas, literally like since you were like 4. So
Yeah, and dude, I would, if I will say this publicly, and I mean it 100%. If I had a gun to my head and I had to choose herping or keeping, I would choose herping every time. Every time.
Hell yeah. Yeah.
Like
so
if
would
if I had to give up every animal that I keep, if it meant that I could go outside and see these animals, you know, and I would choose that every time. Like if I was told I never could go herping again as long as I kept reptiles, I would give it up. Like it means everything to me to walk around a corner, you know, and to see, you know, like being in the water. Like I love the water too. Like I love to swim. I love to wade in water. Like to come around a shoal in the creek and see like a diamondback rattlesnake, you know, like a Nerodia rhombifer, and like just be able to grab that thing. And like I love that shit so much. And you know,
what other species do you guys have in Arkansas?
As far as just the Nerodias or all
Any that you find? Yeah, just anything that you find.
Okay, so
not just water snakes.
Yeah, as far as our venomous, we have the Agkistrodons, we have the cottonmouths, the copperheads, and then we have the coral snakes, and we have 4 species of rattlesnake here. We have the Crotalus iridis timber rattlers, we have atrox, we have the pygmies, and then we have
oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, we have pygmies. They're very few and far between. Like it's hard to find them.
Yeah.
And then we're not supposed to have them, but I've found Easterns. Like you know, if you were to ask the game warden, they would say not Easterns here, but I've seen Easterns in the wild.
Yeah.
And then you know, we have probably 5 different species of Nerodias. You know, we've got the plain bellies, the bandeds, the diamondbacks. We have mud snakes. We have ringneck snakes. We have.
I was gonna ask about the mud snakes. Do they have the red bellies out there?
We have the red bellies. Yeah.
Yeah.
And like I actually have a friend of mine that he and his dad worked. His dad and I worked together for a while, and I wound up hiring him. And like, I had no idea that this kid liked snakes. You know, like no clue that he liked snakes. And he was telling me, he was like, "Man, I found a snake the other day." I was like, "What?" you like snakes? He was like, yeah, I love snakes. And he's wound up buying like 3 ball pythons from me. He bought a motley boa from me, you know. And like I took this kid from being just a laborer to making him a full-blown heavy equipment operator. And like he knows, like, you know, we became really close. Actually, he had this snake hook custom made for me. And he got another one that's custom made out of a deer bone. I don't know where it's at right now, but like it, you know. And he, the first snake that I ever seen pictures of him was having a mud snake, a red belly, and I was like, man, you know, where'd you find that thing? Like, I want to catch it, you know, I want to see him. And he was like, we find them behind the house all the time. And I went back there like 6 times, and I never saw one back there. But
never happens. Yeah, it's always that's always what happens.
And then we've got, you know, a few different species of king snakes. We've got ribbon snakes. We've got garters. We've got smooth and rough scaled green grass snakes. The rough scales have become really hard to come by lately. Like when I was a kid, I found them a lot. I haven't found them in years. We have the blue racers. We have black racers. I'm sure I'm forgetting a bunch of stuff that I've caught. But
what are the laws like there with keeping that stuff? Do you get to keep those, or is that not legal there? Not at all.
No, I can't keep any native non-venomous reptiles. Like, you know, I can't keep. And I actually talked to Rob Christian about it because Rob had some Nerotias that he was raising up, and like I told him, I was like, you know, I would love to have those, but I can't. Like, you know, and obviously I've already had animal control called on me once. I'm not taking any chances to lose my other animals.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it sucks, you know. And like as far as venomous reptiles, I can, you know, native venomous, I can keep those. Like I can keep the rattlesnakes, I can keep you know, copperheads, I can keep cottonmouths. And Arkansas has fucked up laws. Like I can keep that shit, but I can't keep more than 5 in the same enclosure is one rule. I was like, I wouldn't do that anyway. And you know, there's been arguments. There's been arguments from people. Look at this girl; she's still just hanging out. There's been arguments from people that, you know, were breeding berms in Arkansas that, you know, they just nixed that and you can't do it anymore. But in the same state, I can breed black mambas if I want to. You know, I can breed fucking hyenas if I want to. And okay, so you trust the public with hyenas and black mambas, but we can't have Burmese pythons? You guys make a lot of fucking sense, man. And well, they could become invasive and live outside. Have you seen a hyena? They can fucking live outside. They live outside.
Wait, they can live outside, outdoors, like out of the doors. They can just exist and survive, and eat things, and kill people and dogs and other animals. I'm actually kind of good with it. Strange.
Yeah, and you know, I worked in Carlsbad in New Mexico for like 8 months, so I got to do some herping out there. And you know, like, you know, around your area of the world. So like, you know, I've been out there and like got to see the gopher snakes, and you know, got to catch those and phlegm machines, man. Like those things are hissing and phlegming and like.
Yeah. Oh, that's the best part, I swear. Whenever you find one of those, it's never a mystery of what you found ever.
Oh, for sure. And like I actually talked to some Native American people, and like the word that they use to describe gopher snakes was something like phlegm serpent, you know, because like, you know, the way that they react. And anybody that hasn't had a chance to, you know, go out west and catch gopher snakes, like those things are so funny because they'll display.
Oh, I got a bunch of them every time. Yeah. Every time I go to clean their things, it's always a display. It never fails.
Yeah, I love that shit. And I think that's probably my favorite thing about colubrids, is having like bull snakes and stuff like that rare up, and pine snakes. God, that's a species that I wish I could have so bad. Like I wish I could have southern pine snakes, and I left those off my list. but we have those here too. And like I wish I could have that shit, and I can't. I wish I could have, speckled kings, and I can't. Fucking laws. Everybody go
here too.
Pledge money
Yeah.
to you. Please go and become members of US Arc right now, so I can keep pine snakes at some point.
Actually, it's funny you bring up pine snakes. Miri and I were talking about pine snakes earlier because I literally, and again, this is me admitting for the first time what an amateur I am. I know almost nothing about everything. I had a buddy of mine like reach out, which naturally all of us, I'm sure at some point in our lives, are like our friends just assume that we know every animal that they come across, because they're like, oh, this is a snake person. So I had a buddy text me a picture, and obviously, of course, as you guys already can assume, it was a terrible picture, super fuzzy and not really like clear, but of this snake, and I saw it, and he was asking me what it was, and I saw it, and I'm like, I honestly have no fucking clue, but I was like, give me a second, I'll reach out to somebody, and I reached out to Miri, and I sent her the picture, and she was like, I told her, I was like, I feel like it's maybe a juvenile pine snake, but I'm like, that doesn't sound right, like the colors don't look quite right, and she immediately, what did you say it was, Miri? Like right off,
it was
right,
a
literally
DK's brown snake.
Yeah, it was a DK's, exactly.
Oh, DK's brown, yeah. Oh, yeah. We have those too. I forgot.
Well, and the thing about those is they honestly, from the photographs, it's super interesting, as consistent as they are in coloration. There is a lot of polymorphism, which honestly got me interested in them now, because I'm like, this is a random text I got. That's a beautiful snake. That's just a random wild snake that my buddy saw around his house. They're gorgeous. And I've said this before. I think, in all seriousness, that like, a lot more people need to be breeding these native species. I really think that there's something there. I think there's an untapped market and just a lot of underappreciation.
Well, I'm connected by creatures. Antoine told us that the first snake he ever bred was DK's brown snake.
Yeah.
Like that was the first snakes Antoine ever bred.
Yeah. Yeah. So, and I love that you remember that, because I'm just a squirrel brain dumbass. So,
I was gonna say, if you guys were talking about it, why the heck did you send me a picture to look?
Well, because again, talking about something and seeing something is totally different, and I'm an idiot. So again, these are, I'm not lying. These are the facts. I'm terrible at species recognition in terms of things that I don't work with, and I only work with ball pythons and retics. So anytime somebody texts me something that's native North Carolina, I'm like, I don't know shit, bro. I got nothing.
Around here, like 9 times out of 10, if somebody takes a picture of a snake and they're like, I don't know what this is, 9 times out of 10, it's a rat snake. Like,
oh, for sure. Yeah.
Like, and then the other 10% of that, it's different types of Nerodia, different water snakes.
That's what I was going to say. I get
every once in a while, the guy that killed the cottonmouth that was trying to kill his kid actually killed a cottonmouth, but it's like 1 out of 1,000.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
all the other times, that cottonmouth is just a plain-bellied water snake.
I've commented on so many TikTok videos of people literally like shooting fucking water snakes, and I'm like, congratulations, you just killed something that was completely harmless. And in
Bruce
fact,
Saunders,
Bruce
Saunders sent me a picture the other day, and I'm gonna text it to you, Zach. And
please do. I need to reach out to him. I feel so bad that I'm so terrible at keeping up with people, in all seriousness. Like, all of our guests are so amazing, and they're literally like friends of ours at this point, and I do a terrible job of reaching out.
It says the blue whale has a vagina big enough to fit 6 grown men. This makes it the world's 2nd biggest pussy, next to dudes who kill water snakes.
That's the best. That's the best way that I've seen that sentence used, literally ever. That's fucking amazing. Because I already knew where you're going with it. Because what I've usually heard it referenced to is like a your mom joke. So I'm glad to see that somebody got creative with it, and
dude,
it's also very true.
And
1,000% true.
Like I send this picture to people all the time, and it's like an overweight guy sleeping on the couch in a blue thong, and it says how guys that kill snakes sleep. And like anytime there's some dipshit on Facebook that's like, man, I killed a 19 and a half foot rattle bellied water serpent, and I just send him this picture.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, my dad found a rattle coppermouth.
Yeah, and it chased him. It chased him like
hell. Them damn water moccasins, they always chase you. Me and my brother Elroy, we was in the boat, we was fishing. There's a whole ball. 19 of them some bitches came running at us 200 miles an hour. You should have said they just climb up the side of the fucking boat, man. We was hitting them with paddles. Them some bitches was everywhere.
Shit fire.
And safe matches.
Yeah. I love that the follow-up to that. It's
100%.
Of course.
Miri, so obviously you can relate to that a little bit because you told me previously you get a lot of calls and texts and things about whether it be venomous or what people think are venomous. And you live again in New Mexico for those that don't know. So obviously, there's a lot of rattlesnakes and things like that. I would assume.
Yeah, like Bradley said, it's 90% just the bull snakes that just have the biggest shows ever, and then maybe 10% of it is an actual Western Diamondback, and like, oh my God, this thing had the biggest rattle I've ever seen, and I come up and it's just this little like brand new 10-inch little bull snake, and they're like, I swear it lunged at me like 3 times, and I'm like.
And you're like, I agree with that part.
I don't even know how people come up with it. Yeah.
Well, let's be honest. Bull snakes will definitely lunge at you, but they don't have. But it's like, okay, it's not a rattlesnake. It literally has no rattle. I can see the tip of its tail. There's no rattle there. It's not making the noise.
It's the show and them like spitting at you and like the phlegminess that Bradley was saying. It's so loud. So I get how people can like mistake that, but. It's just funny how it goes from like this 7-foot Aatrox to this little 10-inch bull snake. Could you just do some research? You care this much about your family, do some damn research.
Right.
Yeah, it's funny. Like that same conversation happens all the time. Like it's all the fucking time that this. My brother had this, coppermouth, and it was as big around as my thigh. Like, what the fuck are you talking about? It had 37 rattles and a button. I seen that button on there. Like, no, it didn't.
Yeah.
Go away. Go play in the street, please.
Go play in the street. That took me a second to like digest. Even I'm like, okay, yeah, you're not wrong though. But that's how, again, it was the same thought that I had earlier. Again, like not even knowing what species my buddy had sent me, not even being familiar with it. I'm looking at it. I'm like, there's literally like 17 things that I could point out to you to identify the fact that, first of all, it's non-venomous. It's completely harmless. Like you can just leave it alone because basically this person, and not, again, if he's listening to this, like I'm not meaning to talk shit about you. I'm gonna a little bit, and you know who you are, so fuck you, and I can say that. Because it's one of my good buddies, but it's like, man, I feel like there's like a little bit that I could have taught you, and I own that. I could have educated this person for 5 seconds and taught them how to, identify that stuff. I was gonna say I love that Bradley still has this lizard on his shoulder, and it's just literally.
I was just eating it. It doesn't give a shit.
Yeah. Well, it makes me kind of concerned for how you treat it normally, because it's like if it's just used to that kind of treatment, I'm a little concerned. Do you just slap that lizard around when nobody's watching, or?
You know how I said earlier that reptiles are cathartic to me? It's because I can punch them and they can't tell anybody.
Somebody's going to take this clip. And it's not going to be. Here's the thing. It's not going to be today. It's not going to be today. It's not going to be tomorrow. It's going to be in like 6 years when whether it's well, actually, when both of these like podcast live streams blow up, and everyone's like, "Fuck, I gotta knock these motherfuckers down a peg. Let me find the time that guy said that he abuses all of his animals."
You remember when that guy said he punched his snake?
Yeah. And look, I'm gonna and some that somehow he'll convince CNN that it's newsworthy.
No, they're gonna put a picture of me next to Brian Barczyk punching snakes.
And you're absolutely right.
Fucking idiots.
Nailed it.
Speaking of, man, that's one of the greatest people I've ever met. Like,
I actually was gonna ask you to dive into that. I was
man. I feel like I've done just a lot of talking and haven't answered a fucking question. One, you guys interview me. Ask me what the fuck you want to know.
No, Bradley, that's the idea, and the comment section has verified that is the correct thing. There's been numerous comments, and for the record, I take it as the largest compliment personally. There were numerous people that said, "I've never seen Zach be this quiet for so long." It's because I'm literally, and I said it in the comments. I don't know if you guys are both can see the comments or watching. I said it word for word. It has been so much fun to watch two people that I'm such good friends with literally have some back and forth and literally just have this exchange of conversation, especially because I told Miri like early on, I'm like, Bradley loves to go like herping in the wild, and like both you guys are super familiar with like your local native species and with the whole, you know, the Latin names and the whole nine. Like I am an ignorant ass. For anybody that is not aware, like I don't know that much about that many things in terms of this stuff. I'm super passionate about it and I love it, but that's why I love to just get two people like you guys together and get those conversations going. It excites me because again, I'm such good friends with both of y'all, and so to see y'all go back and forth and for me to have an opportunity to basically be a viewer, I'm literally sitting back just like smiling ear to ear the way that I hope that so many people in the comments are at just the joy that this conversation is bringing me. So no, like in all seriousness, dude, I'm glad I have been asking you shit. I shouldn't have to. And I know I don't have to. Cause you have so much to fucking give, man. And I don't know that I've ever given you that fucking, you know, compliment publicly. I know that I've said it to you in private and in, you know, whatever, but
Adam Wickens, I'm going to fight you. No, man, like with what we do together on Connected by Creatures, like it's a different side of me. It's a different side of you, you know, like there's when John Feely, when we do that, like we both come into it with a mindset on things that we're focused about that we want to highlight about, you know, whoever we have on and whoever we're interviewing.
Yeah, and, we take ourselves out of it 100%.
Yeah, 100%. And we both have different things that we want to get out of, you know, whoever our guest is.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of times that the shit that I want to talk about, you don't care about, and the things that you want to talk about, I don't care about. But we split the time between, you know, like we kind of bounce it back and forth, and like I'm plugging myself and Zach.
Please,
so fuck you guys. Like we do a great fucking job. And if you guys like, if you go back and watch old episodes, like there's some really classic fucking moments with different people that we've had on there. Like we've had really good times. And I think it's bullshit we only have the amount of subs that we have right now. And I'll just say that because I'm getting interviewed right now, so I can plug my own shit.
You can.
Yeah, but
it's gonna make me uncomfortable, but you can do that.
But you know, that being said, we have enough time to just throw in a little bit of our experiences to tie into conversation with the people that we're talking to, because it's not about you and I, it's about the people that we're talking to. Mm-hmm. And so with that being said, I don't really take the time to like dive into shit really deep on my end, you know, like I don't. So there's a lot of stuff that, there's a lot of things that people don't know about me. Like there's a lot of things, like, even though there's, a shitload of hours that have been watched of me and you talking to people, there's a lot of things about you that people don't know, and a lot of things about me that people don't know. And I mean that obviously in life, but in just the hobby, like in where we got to the point we're at with reptiles and the things that we're doing with them and why, and the different ins and outs. And I think that, with you saying that, oh, you don't know shit, and you're so, there's different elements. Like there's things that that I don't really know shit about. Like you were the other day just texting me, explaining to me, how you're calculating super dwarf percentages and shit. And I've never really gave a fuck about that. So like, I never studied it to look into it. At the same time, there's stuff that I've been interested in since I was a little kid that, you had other interests, and, and that, don't sell yourself short is basically what I'm saying. Like,
well, I'm going to cut you off now because I'm not going to allow you to compliment me on my own show. I appreciate it, man. And in all seriousness, a lot of people say that I don't talk enough about myself, and I do that. I do that for a reason. Again, it's not about me. It's about building up everyone around me. That's the way that I like to operate. As a matter of fact, I'm glad that somebody just gave me something I can ask you, as opposed to me continuing with this line of thought, because I just don't want to. I don't know. Anyways,
is it Adam Wickens?
Because of course it is. Let's see.
Okay.
If you're going to ask Bradley questions, can you ask him what kind of dinosaur he'd be if he could be any dinosaur, and what does his dinosaur mating call sound like?
Okay, so
it's a little aggressive, but all right,
Adam,
let's roll.
I need further. I need you to expand. Is this a theoretical Bradley dinosaur, or is this a real dinosaur? Like, do I have to give you the true dinosaur, or is it the dinosaur I would be if I was?
That's actually you're right, because he overstepped himself, because he did say, what kind of dinosaur would you be?
Right.
But then he did say, what does his dinosaur mating call sound like, which I feel like is very personal to you.
Exactly.
So you could say, I mean, and let's be honest, man, it's
so expand Adam
Wickens. It's 2021. You can identify as one dinosaur, and you're allowed to sound like a different dinosaur. Okay. That's all right. It's 2021. Nobody's allowed to judge you for that. And if they do, if they do, we have to cancel them. They're not allowed to speak to us anymore. They're not allowed to exist in this hobby. We have to give them the boot. And I know that Adam is currently either laughing really hard at what I'm saying, or he's just rolling his eyes at my attempt to be funny about something that he also agrees with. So
you can be dinosaur species.
I'll take it either way.
Okay.
Oh,
so
Jesus. So
if I was to be a species fluid dinosaur, I think we all started out as species fluid at one point. Think about it. I think I would be some type of mixture between an Ankylosaurus, because I always loved Ankylosaurus as a kid, with more of a carnivorous head. So like an Ankylosaurus with like a Spinosaurus aegypticus snout and face.
Yeah. So you'd be a hybrid. You'd be a badass murderer hybrid.
And really, I would probably be like a Compsognathus, but I would identify as an Ankylosaurus with a Spinosaurus head.
I also want to point out that anybody that is potentially still with us and has any level of interest in anything we're talking about, I hope you're actually Googling this and not just clicking off, because I'll be honest, you're not alone in feeling stupid right now, because Bradley's making me feel dumb once again. I feel like at least there's one thing I bring to this podcast where I'm like, I don't know what the fuck all these Latin terms are you guys got, but you know what? I'm gonna watch this. Whatever the fuck they are, it doesn't matter. It's not important. Again, let me be stupid for 2 seconds, okay? Can you just let me like shame myself publicly and not, shame me further? Anyways, It's important.
Okay, and Adam wants the mating call. So
Don't we all?
the mating call would be the same mating call I use as a person. And so you gotta clap your hands together. And this works in all the bars, guys, if you want to try it. Especially the bars in Mexico. So you clap your hands together and you go, ¿Quieres coger? And it works every time. And saying that as a dinosaur would just be the shit. I'd be a Mexican dinosaur.
I was honestly expecting you to just go, oh yeah. That's where I thought. Oh yeah.
And I'm spent.
I don't know. Yeah, I'm spent too. I'm immediately regretting saying either of those things automatically. So, Adam, thank you for always, making our streams awkward for us through us trying to be funny and follow up on the things you request of us.
Anybody else have any good questions? No.
I need to highlight once again what fucking Adam just followed up with. He said we look like the cast. Yeah, well, for anybody that hasn't seen it in the comments, I want to highlight it. And for the fact that also, to be clear, we're going to rip all the audio from this stuff. And I want to talk about that a little bit at some point. Maybe we don't have to do it now, but we can talk about the next Connected by Creatures. I want to rip all the audio from these streams so that we can actually legitimately post this as podcasts later. Adam literally says, you guys look like the cast of Superbad if that movie was cast in 2020. Bradley's the cop. Which cop, though? Which cop? I need to know. It's important. But no, in all seriousness, man, this has been so much fun for me, and I hope Miri, I think that it's been fun for you too. Obviously, you guys went off on a tangent for a good 20 minutes about herping and stuff like that, which I was hoping for because you guys obviously share that passion and that kind of hobby. Bradley, give us an idea, man, if and when we can make it out to Arkansas, because obviously it's been on my damn docket to make that happen at some point. Where are we going herping and what are we trying to see, man?
All right. So first thing we're doing, anytime spring, summer, early fall, and it maybe even a little later in fall. Is that John Feely? You ain't we're not done. You ain't going nowhere. You didn't fucking miss shit. Shut up. So the first thing that we're going to do is there's a place, and it's an old, it's called Graysonia. And if you look it up, back in the early 1900s, it was one of the biggest thriving metropolises in all of Arkansas. Well, it was a huge logging industry.
Yeah.
And when the railroad track got put in, when the railroad came through, they routed it around Graysonia. So the whole fucking area died. Like, now it's a ghost town. Legitimately ghost town. Like, nothing there. Mm-hmm. And the only thing that's left is like an old broken down dry kiln and an ice house. And that's it. And like the float ponds where they used to float the logs in from the rivers. Okay. Mm-hmm. So that's the first place we're going for two reasons. Number one, guaranteed within 30 minutes we'll get on some timbers. Like, I've never been up there without seeing timbers. Like, we'll get on timbers like that. Never been up there without seeing timbers. Never. Number two is they also used to mine cinnabar up there. So there's tunnel cave systems that go all through the mountain that we can get in and explore. And I didn't know that I was scared of bats until I was 22 years old.
Oh, no.
And you found out firsthand, I'm going to guess.
Well, I found out when I had a handful of fucking bats.
That's way worse. That's way worse.
And okay, so the number three reason is once we go up there and go herping all day and like go and find all the cool shit, that area is highly present in like supernatural shit. So like you'll get like some crazy eerie
Ooh.
feelings, like shit's watching you, and awesome place.
That's
That's
my kind of stuff.
That's day number one.
Yeah.
Day number one. Day number two.
Wait a minute. You got days planned out? Like I was like, I'm so hyped even now. Like I want to be clear. I'm gonna watch this back later, and I'm 1,000% certain we're planning. Like this is happening. This is gonna go down. We're gonna do this shit live later.
Yeah,
I'm sure. All three of us.
Like a fucking Arkansas travel guide.
I know you are, which is why I'm so hyped. But I didn't expect this.
The cool thing is you guys don't have to pay for anything. Like I got
fuck out of here. Fuck out of here. Okay. Anyways,
day number two, we're gonna go to my parents' house. My grandma has an 11-acre pond in her front yard.
Okay.
My family has.
Wait. To clarify, her pond, the pond itself, just the water,
is 11 acres. Yeah.
I'm only clarifying just for people that are listening, like me, that are squirrel brained and they will gloss over details. That's fucking massive.
Yeah. So, it was originally 3 acres, and then my grandpa wanted to make it bigger, and my family has a 5,800 acre farm, and so we had all types of equipment and shit, and we dug out 8 more acres and built a spillway, and my whole family does dirt work, by the way. Fish in the pond, there's a shitload of bass, bluegill, red ear, brim, a few crappie, some channel cats. That's about it. Shitload of bass, though. It needs to be fished really bad. Okay, so we're going to go to all around the family's land. Channel cats, no flatheads. We'll go all around the family's land, go herping out there, see all types of animals, like all kinds of cool shit. We'll actually get on some alligators, too. And so then that night, we're going to go to a place about 20 minutes up the road called Gurdon, Arkansas.
Okay.
When everybody look this up. When you get off of here, look up the Gurdon Light.
I'm looking.
It was on
now.
Unsolved Mysteries back in the day. Nobody's figured out what the fuck it is. And it's a ghost light that I've seen my whole life, and it will follow you and touch
Gurdon,
you.
How do you spell it? G-U?
I've seen those.
If you turn around and walk towards it, it'll disappear. If you turn around and face one way, it'll come right up to your shoulder.
Interesting. Well, and Bradley, we've talked about this. Like, you and I kind of share that shit, man, in terms of, like, just appreciating, again, whether it's whatever the fuck people want to call it, energy, like, whatever. Miri and I had that conversation to some extent, like, just, and again, just in these rural areas that are not overly developed, that are not overly traveled, there's a lot of weird shit that goes down, man. And a lot of things just cannot be denied. A lot of energy cannot be denied. That's why I like to use the term energy, whether you want to call it God or religion, or, however anybody else wants to approach it. This is my thoughts on it. Like, energy at some level cannot be stopped. It's just the facts, If 2 objects are meant to collide, they're going to fucking collide, and there's nothing that anybody can do about it.
Well, and I'm not going to go super deep into that because that's a whole other podcast on its own. I can literally talk about that stuff for hours. Like
for sure. That might be a third podcast that I need to have. Is that you and I have Connected by Creatures. Miri and I do this, whatever we end up naming it. And then we all end up having a third podcast that's all about, some fucking alien energy shit.
Yeah, man. And like I grew up in the Bible Belt. I grew up
we both did, for sure.
Yeah. If you weren't a part of a certain church, you were excommunicated, basically. And I'm not even saying if you're just not Christian. Like, if you're not part of the right denomination of Christianity, like you'll get,
shunned.
Shunned,
shunned and shamed, and
I spent a long time.
I was just gonna say, let alone being to these religions and loving reptiles, you will be just hated and despised and assumed to be some sort of Satan.
And I spent a long time with a big fucking chip on my shoulder, and like I've read the Bible countless times cover to cover. Like I would say probably cover to cover 20 times, and I've spent 30 years studying it. But I've also studied other world's religions, and I've also studied other cults and sects and, you know, like all types of religions, whether it's esoteric or whatever. And, you know, I've developed my own beliefs through things, and energy is huge, and balance is fucking everything, because nothing that is out of balance can create nothing. If you look at a blade of grass and you think about the xylem and phloem, and you think about how the symmetry is of that blade of grass, it's balanced. Okay. If you take whatever element that you want off the periodic table and you add or take away from it, it becomes what? An isotope, right? Instantly starts to decay because it's out of balance. Things that are not in balance cannot create, and they cannot survive. So by blinding yourself to certain aspects of the world, you lose that balance, and you have to have that to thrive. And not everything's always going to be fucking rainbows and kitty cats and Lisa Frank trapper keepers. And, you know, like without the darkness, you never know to appreciate light. Yeah. And, you know,
man, you have literally that sentence, that last part, I feel like you and I have talked about it. Miri, you and I have talked about it. Like, man, that is the truth, you know. And I feel like and we don't have to go deep on all of this, but just the three of us at some point of our lives have faced terrible darkness, have faced terrible things, you know, that in those moments, maybe we never felt like we could get out of those depths, right? And yet the perspective that we have carried on, having lived through that, and then realized that, hey, yeah, actually there is a light at the end of the tunnel. There actually is some improvement to be had. And again, without getting into any depth, and I really don't want to on this stream, but it's just that, in my opinion, is why, Bradley, you and I we've talked about it. That's why you and I are friends. And that is also why genuinely, I was so excited to have you on tonight for Miri and I's stream, because I just feel like all three of us are those same people that have lived through some really dark shit, and we have just this different perspective as a result of all of it. And none of our dark stuff is the same. All of us have suffered a different darkness. All of us have suffered a different experience in life, and also on the flip side, a different positivity that brings another just perspective. It's all perspective, man. And Bradley, you know, again, we've gone pretty deep.
Perception is reality, bro.
We've gone really deep with all that stuff, thankfully.
Well, okay,
you know, and that's why you and I are so close. But
I'll give you the perfect example of that, and then we'll talk to something else. So
yeah.
You can take a set of twins, right? You can take a set of twins, identical twins. Genetically, they're the same. They were raised by the same parents in the same environment. Everything, ate the same food, did the same shit. You set them in an area and have them watch something. Ask them 10 years later what happened, and they're both going to tell you something different, because it affects them different. Because how you perceive is what your reality is. Perception is always going to be reality. There's no nature or nurture that can ever make something exactly precisely the same as somebody else. So when you go around talking shit and saying, well, you should have done this and you should have done that and I would have did this, fuck you, buddy. Because not one of us has ever looked at, I hate the walk in someone else's shoes, because motherfucker, I can put your shoes on, I can walk in. But I can never see through your eyes, and nobody's ever thought with another person's mind. And so that's what it all boils down to. Because for every thought that you have, that takes energy. That energy does not just dissipate. It's not destroyed. That energy is stored. So that's an ethereal place where energy stays. So you can manifest whatever you want through the energy of thought.
Yeah. Yeah. No, and again, going back to it, is just that your perspective again is constantly changing.
And my perspective is from a gay for pay actor.
That's an important thing to point out. So if you guys want to jump onto Bradley's OnlyFans, you know, I don't.
If I thought people would subscribe to my OnlyFans, I would start that bitch today.
If you think that I'm not already fucking thinking it, you're fucking wrong. Because I'm just saying, if there's enough money out there, I'm willing to.
Everybody's got a type, Bradley. Just start it and see what happens.
Tattooed Arkansan is not the type.
Listen, I'm not. I have no.
I don't know. I'm pretty good.
No comment to make. I have no comment to make because I could take this a whole fucking other left fucking wing way, but I'm not gonna do it. So, but yeah, no, like I said, that's the thing, man. It's just about all that stuff. In all seriousness, to really bring it back around is that all of us share all of this stuff amongst each other. You know, between this hobby, between just animals in general. You know, again, even people that don't keep snakes, that love animals. You know, oftentimes, you know, they can at least appreciate what we have going on and just different perspectives. And it has been so much fun to just, dude, honestly, interview you for once, you know, and just really, despite the fact that, again, I know a lot of the things that you and I have talked about, and we've talked about it one-on-one. I have been excited tonight for you to share that with other people. What are you holding there? Is that what you got from Garrett? Hang on. Well, Bradley, your audio cut out.
My bad. I have my mic turned up. Lavender, Motley, Golden Child, retic, female.
Who did you get that particular one from? That's not from Garrett. That's the one from.
No, this is from In Your Face Exotics.
In Your Face, yeah. And also compliment, huge shout out to In Your Face Exotics. They're the ones that handed me a fucking retic to just wander around the Arlington show with, which was also like. To their credit, the retic they gave me, they were like, yeah, this was a retic that was returned, basically, that like the person said was aggressive and blah, blah, blah. And meanwhile, this was a retic that Earl Jones literally put the animal's head in his mouth at one point to try to show someone. Like, he did. He literally did. I'm not kidding. And it, I was able to grab that animal literally by the head, grab that animal by the tail. I mean, they raise some amazing animals, and they clearly take such good care of their animals. And to me, man, that goes far beyond almost anything else that any breeder, keeper, whatever, could ever show me or tell me or whatever about themselves.
You seeing this shit, Zach?
I am, and I dude, it's and that is the best. It's the best. And that's the stuff that we all need to be showing more of. And Bradley, same thing with your iguana cage, man. I want you to do a video on that.
Yeah, dude, I've got so much fucking footage.
I know. I'm giving you shit like I don't have the same problem.
Well, no, like I've been meaning. I've got like 9 videos worth of footage that I've just haven't edited and put out. Like, dude, the other day, those herping videos that me and Katie made. Yeah. And then we took the girls out. Like, I took my daughter and her friend out, caught some salamanders, and I caught that big ass snapping turtle, that Callidra serpentina, common snapper. Like, and that dude was so fired up. Like, he was like trying to eat me, and it was great. And then Katie's pulling leeches off of the fucking snapping turtle shell. She was like, "Don't put it back. There's one more leech." Like, I've got so much footage, and I've got footage of like my animals climbing trees outside. I've got footage of Athena's cage. Like, I have to edit that shit and put it together, man. And
it's the work. I get it.
Like, well, no, it's not the work. Like, there's no work that's ever going to stop me. Like, I love work. I'm not afraid of work. I fucking kill work.
Trust me, I know.
Anybody that wants to have a contest, grab a shovel and I will set your ass down, buddy.
Yeah.
But
believe him when he says it.
Yeah, believe me.
It's a fact.
I send
I wouldn't accept that
25-year-old kids home all the time because they can't shovel with me.
Yeah.
But no, like I fucking hate seeing myself on like I hate making videos. Like I always feel like I'm saying something stupid, which is why I love doing these podcasts
So do
and shit
I.
like that, because it's okay if I say something that I feel stupid. It's fucking gone. You know, too late to try to edit that shit now. Like Bradley said something stupid. You know, oh well.
Yeah. I say dumb shit all the time.
That's what I was fixing. I was like, Zach fucks up all the time.
100%. I literally fucked up.
No, man,
I can't even get here on time, let alone
because there's right. I was trying to click go live on y'all's fucking broadcast.
I know you were. I know.
Miri didn't decide. Maybe she thinks she's Brian Cusco. Just got to be fashionably late to everything.
No, actually, no. I'm gonna cut you off there because legitimately,
it's always his damn fault.
Yeah. To clarify, because I don't think I made it very clear early on, I literally copy and paste.
He always wants to be the one to host everything, so I just have to follow everything that he does, and just happens to be wrong every time.
I actually also I'm going to cut you off and say that you're wrong there, because I actually tried to offer to create a whole new YouTube channel just for this, and you were like, "Well, I don't really know if I agree with the name of a podcast like for us yet, so like you should probably just do it on your channel for now."
Everybody loves that name. What's wrong with it?
Nothing. No, I thought maybe. All right, maybe we miscommunicated. Clearly, I'm just an idiot. That's what it comes down to. So, anyways, for the next stream, next Wednesday, 9:00 Eastern Standard Time, you guys can find Miri and I on our very own brand new YouTube channel, which I can only assume is going to end up being Zach and Miri Make a Podcast. I mean, it makes sense. It does, and it worked. But again, we hadn't really talked about it, had time. But for right now, again, this entire episode is all about Bradley. And dude, I in all seriousness, man, I'm fucking so glad to have you on here and have you just like fucking actually talk about yourself for a change. It's been a blast.
I've been waiting for that. I love watching your guys' show, but I wanted to like get to know Bradley. And you're going to Conroe, aren't you?
Yeah. I probably won't be there till early Saturday. But we're definitely coming. And and this Miri saying that she doesn't really know me, man, this goes to everybody. Like 100%, anybody watching this, anybody that watches this later, like I'm the easiest person in the world to talk to get along with. Like reach out to me, whether it's Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, whatever. Reach out to me, and if I don't respond to you right then, it's because I'm at work. And I get home at like 6-7 o'clock every day. The first thing that I do is come in, say hi to my family, and then I'll check and see if anybody messaged me. And like, I don't really check Instagram and Facebook throughout the day because I'm just so busy. But if you reach out to me and you want my phone number, like I'll give my phone number to everybody. I love to talk about reptiles. I love to try to help people. And like I said earlier, I don't fucking know everything. I will never claim to know everything, but I keep a lot of species. I've been doing it for a long time, and I'm not going to bullshit you. Like, I'm not going to tell you that you're, fucking idiot because you did this. Like, I'll listen to what you're saying that you're doing, and maybe I'll implement that myself, and like all I can offer you is experience and love. And because to me, like, I don't give a flying fuck if I ever make $1 off of any animal in this house. I don't give a shit if I ever make $1 off the internet. Like, this isn't about money for me. I mean, I'm tooting my own horn, right? I make a lot of money, but I bust my ass for work. And I work for everything that I have, and I spend my money not on fancy cars and shit like that, because nobody in my house gives a fuck about that. Nobody in my house gives a fuck about what kind of clothes we're wearing, or like, we love spending time together and making memories. Like, I would much rather be with my family and hang out than spend, $1,000 on a car payment. Like, I don't give a shit what the dude next to me thinks about my vehicle. I don't care. But if he wants to come over and see a cool ass snake, like, I've got it.
You'll get excited as fuck about it.
Yeah, excited as fuck.
Yeah.
Because I've seen it.
Yeah, and I love to try to share information. And man, Zach will tell you, like, I don't really talk about a lot of stuff, on social media. And again, I'm fixing to toot my own horn, but this means more to me than anything. There's not a topic that you can bring up that I don't know something about. I'm a big fucking nerd, and I read constantly. Like, that's all I do is read. Like, I love music. I'm a musician. I play guitar, drums, piano. If you want to talk fucking any type of music, whether it's country or 80s metal or old hip hop, I don't know shit about new hip hop, but like, I'm a cinephile. I love movies. I love books. Like, I'm that weirdo that sits and reads like quantum physics books for fun. Like, when I was a kid, I read the dictionary a couple times, and I love to know as much as I can know about everything. And so I feel like every person on the planet I can learn something from. And it goes back to that perception thing, because you can read something and I can read something and we can have two different interpretations of it. And like, we can share that with each other. So fucking everybody call me. We'll have a big call gangbang. Like, everybody call me.
Actually, you know what, Bradley? This actually gives me an idea. Like, I think all of us should do a Zoom call. We'll figure it out who needs to host it and how to make it happen. But in all seriousness, I think that's a big thing. And we'll kind of close with this, or whatever. Maybe we won't. I don't know. But in all seriousness, I think that would be a great thing for all of us. Because again, none of us are trying, or excuse me, Riley, you and I are not these big time breeders. Miri is going to be a big time breeder. She already is a big time breeder in terms of what she's doing. And that's not I don't mean that to sound as negative as maybe I made it sound. Like, we all have our perspectives, I guess, is the important thing to offer. Right. And my favorite thing about this entire podcast was literally, and I already said it, was watching and listening to you two go back and forth about the species that you guys have caught in the wild, or the species you want to catch in the wild, and talking about herping trips and stuff like that. So we'll definitely, for sure, like, I'm not even kidding, we will plan that to make that happen at some point, because Bradley, you and I have talked about, me getting out to Arkansas and us just fucking going crazy. And you having the experience and the lay of the land for literally since your childhood. I'm sure you could put us on some snakes and we can, film it. And not that part even matters, to be clear. Literally, I think that's my favorite thing about all three of us, is that none of us give a fuck about documenting any of that stuff for anyone else. All three of us love these animals for the animals. We all love the experience of these animals. And that's the big takeaway, and that's what separates us from and hell, that, that's not even a great thing to say, because it's not what separates us. I honestly think that all of us in this hobby share that, but I think that some of us get more caught up in the social media side than we should, myself included, because there are people that are going to call me out for that. Absolutely, myself included, and that's only because I'm so passionate about trying to spread my message. And my positivity along with everyone else's positivity. I'm just so fucking hyped on where this stream is going, with what Miri and I have to offer to people live. And again, just Bradley, obviously you and I, I don't have to say it, I'm fucking pumped on what you and I do every fucking week, man. especially the compliments that you and I have received this week. And then that's not to say that we haven't received other compliments, and that's not to toot our own horn, but fuck you guys. The reality is we have a great fucking stream, and Miri and I are gonna have a great fucking stream moving forward. Like it's
Well,
so
yeah, if you can ever get me to
clear.
talk.
Or, well, I think what you meant to say there was if you'd ever shut the fuck up and let me speak.
No, you know, the whole thing is that no, people get on to me about like not being able to talk, but like the great thing that I like about Bradley on here is that I can actually relate to somebody who like goes herping, and not a lot of the keepers do a lot of that. And I mean, I love my ball pythons and retics and all this other stuff, but it's just like I think deep down I love the science side of everything and just understanding where the species come from. And that's what like gets to my heart. That's what I've loved so much about the hobby, and getting to know the people who like to take the trips to each other's houses. Like when I go to Marita's, like we love to go herping and just get excited and spend hours and hours. Like I stayed at Marita's until the last night I was supposed to go home at 4 o'clock in the afternoon. I ended up getting home at 7 o'clock in the morning because we spent another like couple hours herping. And I like, a lot of people would just take me as somebody who doesn't really talk a lot, and it's just something that I like to talk about, passion. And if it's I wouldn't say like because I'm not talking it's not passionate, but I love like getting to know Bradley because we can share that. And I'd love more than anything to be able to go out there and find out what you like to do and go find, because that's just, it's exciting. And one of the most exciting things is talking about that. So for anybody who harps on me about not talking, I mean, I'll get there. But thank you, Bradley, for actually giving me something to like want to talk about.
Well, and you know, Zach does that shit a lot to where he's like, "Oh, shut me up," and blah blah blah. I've been doing this. I've been doing a podcast with Zach for 27 weeks, and we haven't missed a week, and we do it every week. Mm-hmm. There are times when Zach talks about shit strictly because he's nervous that there's going to be dead space. And when you get him out of that, and like at this point, we've been doing it long enough now that there is no dead space. It's more of, oh shit, we have to fit this much into this small amount of time.
Get off here.
So, and like I was saying earlier, there's shit that Zach asked that I don't care about, and there's shit that I asked that Zach doesn't care about. That's where you're gonna find, after doing it a few times and after, you know, interviewing people and talking to people, you're gonna find your niche, and you're gonna find the things that make you come out of your shell, and you're gonna find the things that have you excited about each different person. So this Friday night on Connected by Creatures, we have Mr. Brian Gundy. Mr. Brian Gundy is one of my favorite people in reptiles, period. Number one, because his voice is fucking hypnotic. I could listen to that man talk and, you know, just go into a trance. Number two, over everything, he's a herper. Like, every single day of his life, he goes out and, you know, herps certain areas, and he sets up like pieces of tin, and he sets up houses, you know, he sets up all this stuff so that way he can bring the animals to him to go and herp and find, you know, like, and that's fucking awesome. Like, I love that. I cannot wait until I go back out to California and go herping with Brian Gundy. Like, that's to me, that's just as big as me when I went to Barcheck's place. It's just as big as when I went to Nerd. You know, like going herping with Brian Gundy is one of those dream trips for me.
Yeah, that's
and stuff. The other thing is he does reptile education. And like, I've sat at Brian Cusco's house and everybody was partying and hanging out and, you know, starting to get wild. And I sat next to Mr. Brian Gundy and just listened to him talk. And like, he's the nicest guy on the planet. He offered, and Zach knows what I'm talking about when I say this, he offered me more than anybody should ever offer another person, like as far as mentoring. And there's going to be things that I talk to him about, and there's going to be things that, you know, I will come out of my shell more for this one than I will for, you know, certain things, because yeah, I breed ball pythons, and I've bred ball pythons for a while, but honestly, I don't care anymore about where the market side of ball pythons is going. Like that's not, but that's
Right.
very interesting to Zach. And so I want Zach to talk about the business side of things and the breeding. To me, I don't care, because I'm never going to be producing animals to make lots of money and to care about the, you know, market and all that stuff. Like breeding is for fun for me. And
Right.
really breeding is for fun for Katie, because she's doing it all now, and she's mixing shit together that I don't know what the fuck she thinks she's doing, but she's having fun with it. But like I can't wait to have the conversation with Brian Gundy, because he does all sides of it. Like with For Goodness Snakes, he breeds badass animals. Like he has nice animals, high end shit. But he also does what I do as far as birthday parties and schools and education. So I think Brian Gundy is going to be huge. I can't wait for it. And like my whole point in bringing all that up is Miri's going to find her thing. You're going to find, by talking to all the people that you talk to, you're going to find you're in. And you're going to find that feeling that you get from certain guests that you have on, to where it just pulls you completely out of any self-thought or any type, like it's an amazing feeling. I'm happy you guys are doing this.
And Chris Eaton to actually just clarified it just there. He goes, "Is something wrong with Zach? This is the longest I've seen him not talk. Do you need some freakle?" Yeah, no, but no, Chris, you missed the stream, man, a little bit. And I'm not calling you out on that. I'm so glad to have you here, and obviously Gary agrees. Yeah, I was gonna say we all three of us love you. But what you missed out on was just the fact that legitimately, Miri got into like a passionate conversation with Bradley around herping and all of that stuff. And like what a lot of people don't realize is that as much shit as I catch for like, oh, Zach talks too fucking much and Zach just doesn't ever shut the fuck up. First of all, that breaks my fucking heart when people call me out for that shit. I'm gonna admit that publicly right now, because it does. It fucking hurts me. I hate that shit. I hate when people call me out for it, to a great extent, because what y'all don't realize is that it's an insecurity that I have, and that's okay. The flip side of that, though, is that in all seriousness, I have been more comfortable to shut the fuck up tonight than I ever have been on any stream, because I've literally watched two people that are my close friends, again, share a passion together and share a passionate conversation, and I've loved every second of it. So it's not because I was like awkwardly being quiet for some reason, or like there's anything that's wrong with me that I'm being quiet. It's because I am fully capable of shutting the fuck up when I need to. When there's a wonderful conversation going on, I can shut the fuck up. So if you ever find yourself, and I can't believe I'm going to say this because this is going to piss some people off. If you ever find yourself feeling like I'm talking too much, maybe it's because you have nothing interesting to offer a conversation. Maybe it's because I feel the need to fill some gaps in. Okay. You know, maybe there's some dead space that should be filled in because you're being awkward. And that's, again, not an insult by any means. Maybe I'm just good at fucking speaking when I need to speak. And I love that this stream, in all seriousness, this stream has been my favorite thing, I honestly think, that I've done with anyone. And I think that it's because I've done it with two people that I respect so much, and love so much. And I hope that, you know what, like I don't even care. I don't care how this is taken, because a lot of people don't realize how much it does hurt my fucking heart when people bust my balls about talking too much or whatever the fuck, because it's not because I'm an arrogant person. It's not because I think I'm self-important. It's not because I think that that my sentence or whatever the fuck that I need to say in that moment is more important than anyone else. It's because I want to keep things interesting. I want to keep things moving. I want for all these things to be the best that they can possibly ever be. And so, yeah, I'm going to drop the mic there, and I apologize if that is awkward for some people that are involved here. I just
the important people know that, Zach. The important people know that,
and I appreciate that. So, yeah, we'll leave it at that. And Mary, unless you have anything else for Bradley, I think we'll kind of close out.
No, I just think that I think this is going to be a good time at Connor, so can plan some stuff maybe if you don't got any other ones and see what happens.
Yeah, for sure. And Zach, man, I love you, brother. We've been doing Connected by Creatures for a while, man, and it's going nowhere but up. I'm happy to see you doing something else. I think this is going to be another good platform, and to anybody that sees this, that sees what Zach and Miri are doing and have some kind of bullshit thought in your head of, well, why would you do that when you're already doing Connected by Creatures? Like, dude, fuck you. That's not what it's about. It's two completely different entities, and coming from me, I'll kick your ass. Stop talking shit. But outside of that, I can't wait to continue, the adventure that we've started. I love what all is going on with a lot of people's different content. I love the things that I'm seeing coming from certain people, and I hate shit that I see coming from other people. But that's life. And it's not my job to talk shit about other people, to, put other people's shit. The same way that I feel about somebody else, like, well, you shouldn't make this music, or you shouldn't make this movie, or you shouldn't do this, or you should. You know what? I can fucking turn the channel. I can turn the station. I can hit next. You can do the same thing. Like, if somebody's doing something that offends you or that bothers you, you don't have to comment about it. You don't have to talk about it. Just fucking ignore it. Go on to the next thing. Like, this whole idea of cancel culture shit that's going on right now because it's bothering somebody, like, by no means should anyone try and go out just to fucking hurt someone. Like, there's no need to hurt people. Life is fucking hard enough as it is without somebody trying to hurt someone else. But just because something offends you, or just because something doesn't go your way, you can't take away that person's platform, whether it's social media or whether it's music or whether it's movies or whether it's, everyone has their own thoughts, their own mind. You cannot control someone. The second that you say you can't think like that is the second you fucked up, because anybody can think however they want. That doesn't mean that they're intentionally harming someone just because they have thought a certain way. But anyway, Miri, you and I are going to get to know each other a lot better. We're definitely going to do Herping. You guys got to get your asses to Arkansas. It's the fucking natural state. It's the only place in the world that you can, or only place in the United States that you can go and find diamonds and keep them. And you can find diamonds right on Highway 301.
Yeah, there it is.
Right.
There it is.
Also, everybody, please reach out to me. Talk to me. Fucking, I don't care if you subscribe or like my shit. Just I'd much rather have a conversation with you. Like, but you can hit subscribe on Connected by Creatures. We would love that.
I mean, I would love that. But
yeah, we would definitely love that. But love you guys. I love the reptile hobby. I love everything about the animals. I don't give a fuck about the politics. I don't give a fuck about anybody else's bullshit. I love these animals. That's why I'm doing this. I love that smile that a fucking 10-year-old little girl has when I hand her a snake for the first time. I love the smile that an 18-year-old boy that's been scared of snakes his whole life is holding my Burmese python, FaceTiming his dad saying, look at this.
Which just happened to you, by the way.
Yeah, it just happened.
For those that don't know. I feel the need to preface that.
Yeah, that's what I'm here for.
You're out here changing lives, brother.
The whole fucking reason that I'm doing anything on social media is so I can let someone else have that experience. So someone will reach out to me and their uncle, their grandpa, their fucking stepdog's cousin is scared of these snakes, and I can show it to them and show them that these animals don't need to be killed. These animals are not trying to kill you. That fucking Burmese python right there does not crawl up next to me to size me up to eat me. He crawls up next to me because he's cold and I'm warm.
Yeah, right.
Like, you know.
Yeah.
Spread knowledge, spread love, spread positivity. If not, fuck you. There's only things in life that matter is love, laugh, smile every day, and destroy anything that gets in your way of doing those things.
And mic fucking drop on Bradley's part. This is literally, I'm not even kidding, literally exactly what I wanted all of you guys to understand about Bradley. Again, he and I do Connect by Creatures every Friday. I do talk a fucking lot. Fuck you guys, I'm not going to go into that anymore. But in all seriousness, there's a reason that Bradley is the person that I do that show with. He's the most positive, powerfully energetic person that I honestly have ever met in my life. I really don't know what I would do without him. And on the flip side, I feel the same way about Miri. I feel like she is this person that has so much to offer, has already done so many things. Literally, I wasn't kidding earlier. I literally text her a picture that somebody messaged me asking like, hey, what snake is this? And I thought I had an idea of what the fuck it was. I didn't fucking know. And she's the person that I reached out to. She's very fucking knowledgeable. She's going to go very far. All three of us, in all seriousness, just have a lot of positivity to offer this hobby. If there's nothing else that I can promise you guys is that there's nothing that you're ever going to see from any of us that will be negative, that will be hurtful to the hobby. And I can also promise you that our faces, no matter how you personally feel about us, are some faces that are not going to go away. You're going to see a lot of shit from us. And I hope that you enjoy it. If you don't, let me know, because honestly, there's always adjustments to be made. There's always things that I can do better. And again, I know that it's probably pissing off, 30% of our audience that I'm the one that's closing out this episode. Miri, do you have anything to close, dear?
No, of course. Just take it away, Zach. It's okay.
You're making me look even worse. I'll lean into it. That's fine. In all seriousness,
no, I like it. So for everybody here, I like that Zach closes because he's really good at that, and I fucking suck at it. So, you know what?
Currently, first of all, you don't suck, but currently, I'm more comfortable doing it. Is what.
And I don't let him close Connected by Creatures.
No, Bradley,
I've
here,
Zach. No, it's okay.
Yeah, I know. I Bradley, I ask you to close out Connected by Creatures every time. I legitimately do, because I respect the fuck out of both of these human beings so much, and I hope it comes across. And again, I hope that people don't take the way that I am and the way that I speak and my excitement.
I hope it comes across that if I needed to say anything, that I would just tell Zach to shut up, because I ultimately will. But I like to hear him talk, and there's a reason why I'm on here. So if Zach wants to close something out, that's fine. I'll say what I need to say.
Yeah, I love that the final comment that I'm seeing is Zach, shut the fuck up. Listen, I love you, Kenny. I really do. But in all seriousness, brother, like, you fucking upset me constantly. If you keep your shit up, I'm gonna fucking hurt you. But no, really, I love both of you guys. I cannot thank both of you enough for just sharing your time, and even more so, I thank everyone that is still here in the comments and has been watching from the beginning. So thank all of you guys. Bradley, in all seriousness, brother, it's been a fucking absolute pleasure to highlight you for once. I've been talking about it for a while, and I'm glad that I got a chance to do it. So,
For sure, man. Anytime.
all right, everybody, in all seriousness, we love y'all. I can't believe that I keep repeating that. It means I'm nervous, which you guys are not used to. I'm nervous and repeating the shit out of everything that I say. So, yeah, we're getting the fuck out of here. I'm gone. Love y'all. Bye.